to Roscoe's World. We're finally back working on my animated series entitled Roscoe's World, which follows my book, again, called Roscoe's World. I feel like I say that name a lot. Alright, but we are back at it. It's been about a week since I've worked on this. I got kind of wrapped up with Christmas gifts and didn't have time for this, but today we're back at it, and today we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up the lip sync on Adobe Animate, because we have finally hit the point where we're going to start, where the characters are going to start talking. So I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and show what we've done so far, and then we will start setting up the lip sync, which can be a little difficult, especially if you don't know how to do it, and especially if you haven't done it in a very long time. We'll probably run into some problems. Now, for the lip sync here, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. So what we'll do, let's set up the scene first and then we'll do the lip sync. I keep forgetting this. Alright, so, and I've said this before, but in Adobe Animate, for whatever reason, the scene 1 does not, the sound doesn't work for scene 1. I don't know why, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but for whatever reason, you can't get any sound on scene 1. So if we're going to be setting up the first line that my character is going to say, we have to be on scene 2 before we can do anything. Alright, so now we are on scene 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our library here, and here's all of the pictures we used in scene 1. To set that up, we're going to reuse again for scene 2. Alright, so we have the scene up. Now we got to rebuild Josh. Okay, so all we did was we went ahead and copy and paste the structure of my character Josh from scene 1, so that way I didn't have to go in and rebuild him. Alright, so now what we need to do though is we need to make Josh bigger, because it's really just, this scene's just going to be a close-up on Josh's face where he's going to say his lines. So now we have the scene set up. Now we are going to set up the lip sync, this thing over here, the lip syncing. Hopefully I can remember how to do it. It's been a while. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we need to bring all of the lips into the scene. And it's going to be the same setup as we did with the hands. When we brought in all the hands and we added them one by one to the scene, it's going to be the same setup as for the lips. Okay, so now that we have the face with no mouth, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a new layer and add the lips to it. So here are all of the lips to make my character talk. You have anything that starts with an A, E, I. You have basically B's and M's and P's, or just really a natural look. You have a lot of C's, D's, G's, K's, N's, S, T, X, Y, Z. Anything that's like this. You have C, H, S, H, C, H, S, H's, and J's. You have double E's, F and V, L's, O's, Q's and W's, R's, TH, and U. So all of these lips combined will make the my character talk. When setting the lip sync up, it is crucial that you label them correctly. If you don't label them correctly, it is an absolute nightmare. So it is absolutely crucial that you label each lip sync up correctly from the get-go. Because if you start wrong, in fact, actually, I don't want to start with this one. I don't want to start with this one. We want to start with the natural one. It just makes it easier. So we're going to start with BMP. So we gave him some lips. I got like a Jay Leno chin going on right now. Alright, so here's the starting point. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to start with this, but you got to have it on its own layer here. So, alright, now it has its own layer down here. But we are going to put it above this, above the Josh smile, basically my face. But we're going to change this to lip sync. Now this layer is called lip sync. That way when we know when going into it where that layer is and where all the layer for the lips are going to be. Now for every scene, then in order to find where all those images are, you have to start with the natural lips for every scene. Otherwise you're going to be kind of lost trying to find where all of your lips went. So now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the lips, and we're going to go into the lips by double clicking. All right, now it's kind of the same setup as we had before. A blank keyframe here. We're going to turn these lips on I don't know what you call this. What do you call this? The onion skin. That's a good name. We're going to go ahead and turn this onion skin on. Now, I've said this before, but just to reiterate, this onion skin shows you what the last frame looked like and the frame next to it will look like. So we can see where the lineup is for the natural lips for the new sets of lips. Now see with this onion thing, we can see where it was. Now if we turn it off, you no longer see it. Well, I guess you kind of do. Oh, that's where the old lips were. All right. So you don't see the natural lips anymore. But if you turn it back on, there they are. So this is a crucial tool to use to line up everything, and it's important that you have each sets of lips line up exactly the same. That way your mouth isn't just like going all over the place as it's cycling through each image to lip sync. Alright, now next we're going to do the next one, blank keyframe, and we're just going to keep dragging them in and going down the line here. So CDGs. Yeah, because it's just very, very important that you have everything on top of each other perfectly. Otherwise, your character will be talking, and then all of a sudden the lips will go over here, over here, over here, and it just looks funky, and it takes you out of it. But if you can set this up perfectly, it makes everything so much easier. And when I used to do the animated like the animated videos when I first started doing Roscoe's World, I was in just kind of a rush and just kind of put them on top of each other. And I've looked at some of the old videos, and maybe I'll put in some of the old videos, but you can just see like the lips will be talking, la, 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 and it'll be over here, down here, and it's just kind of annoying. And so this time around, I want to go ahead and try to make sure everything is perfect to set this up exactly the way it needs to be. I never really took the time to set it up. Oh no. Alright, that's fine. Whatever. And finally, we've got... now that we have all the lips together, it's important that we... Remember I said earlier, we need to label each set of the lips so that way it makes it easier for us to find when we try to change things up. Because what's going to happen is when you put the audio file into the scene and the lip sync takes over, you're going to see a lot of keyframes. But if you don't have the keyframes labeled with the correct lips that are in that keyframe, you're going to have to go through and figure it out. But if you label it from the very beginning, like we're about to now, it makes it a whole lot easier when we put in the audio file and see the keyframes for the lips to change them if they don't sync up correctly. Alright, now, if you notice on the timeline here, it put a little flag. Alright, so now it shows that it's named. These are natural lips. See? Natural. Okay, so next we have B, M, and P. So we're going to go over here. B, M, and P. Okay, so now they're all labeled. We should be good here. Alright, so now when we go back to the scene, pull up our frame picker. Here are all of the lips, all properly labeled so that we can find them later in the scene. Okay, so I forgot about this. So we need to add a blank keyframe, and the reason why that is because when we change the face, so let's say we want to change the face, right? So we click on the face, We want to change the face to an angry Josh, but you can still see the lips because they're on their own layer. So in order to get rid of the lips, we have to go down to the blank keyframe. And now those lips are gone. So now that the lips are all set up, now we got to set up the lip sync. So you're going to hit this lip sync button under object. All right, and now we're going to have to set up the pictures for each one of these here. So natural, obviously we'll go with natural lips. AH, we'll go with this one. All right, so now we're gonna hit done. Now the lips will be automatically synced perfectly. All right, so now we're gonna see how well this worked, if I can remember correctly. So we're going to add a new layer, and we're gonna call this audio. Now I like to have the audio below the lip sync so that I can see it better, but it's entirely up to you how you want to do that. Now we have the audio file into the scene. So now if we hit play,
where could Roscoe be?
All right, so what we want, all right, so now we go into object, go to lip sync, and you want to make sure that this second sync with audio layer, you want it to be on audio, which is what we named this layer. So if you named it something else, that's what it'll be named, but because I named it audio, it's gonna say audio. So now all we have to do is hit done. All right, and now there's the files. So
where could Roscoe be?
If you don't start it on the first frame, it won't play it.
Where could Roscoe be?
See, but if I want to start it here, nothing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take a look. Now see, this is what I was talking about earlier with those, when we named the keyframes here for the lips. If you didn't have these flags, it wouldn't say these. Alright, the flags is what is important. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to figure it out. So this particular keyframe is M, right? But we don't want M, we want it to be just natural. So we're going to put the natural lips there. That way it flows good. This one, again, we don't need this here. There's no sound there, so we're going to have natural. And here, M, again, we don't need that. We're going natural. The sound doesn't even start till here. All right, so now we're going to play it again.
Where could Roscoe be?
Importantly, you kind of look stupid when doing this because you're like mouthing it to see how your mouth looks with it. But okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and export this scene. All right, now we'll put this into the scene. See, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't export the first scene. You have to, that's so annoying. Why does it do that?
Where could Roscoe be?
See how weird that is? Like, you don't hear the sound until the second scene. I don't understand. I don't get that.
Josh was confused. Where could Roscoe be? In a small town in the desert called Henderson lives a boy and his dog, Josh and Roscoe. Every day when Josh came home from work, Roscoe was always there to greet him with a wagging tail and happy bark. One day when Josh came home from work, Roscoe was nowhere to be seen. Josh was confused. Where could Roscoe be?
All right, that looks pretty good. You know, my animation isn't the best, obviously, but it looks good. I liked it. I think it looks great. It turned out pretty good. I'm actually happy. So that was basically it for lip syncing. It actually went a lot easier than I expected. I honestly expected it to be a real pain in the butt, but it ended up being okay. I do know, like, from trials and errors, there's not a lot on this. What there is kind of complicated. So if you are interested in learning how to animate and you need help with the lip sync, I'll make a shorter version of this so that you can just get the nitty gritty, what you need to do in order to do the lip syncing for your own stuff and your own projects. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for the day. I really only set out to set this up, and it went a lot faster than I expected, so this worked out. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you do not want to wait for this episode to come out, you can always get your own copy of Roscoe's World on Amazon.com, or you can go even better. You can go to my website, roscoesworld.store or roscoeworld.com, and pick up your own copy today. I got tons of other stuff on there. I got activity books and coloring books. I got tons of clothes and products. So go ahead and check out Roscoe's World today, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye.